The Genius Playbook, Building Wealth by Buying and Transforming Businesses. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa. I'm here to introduce you to Reagan Rodriguez. Reagan is a futurist who teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. Hello, Reagan.
Hello, Tessa. How are you doing on this afternoon?
I'm wonderful. Thank you. And I'm excited. This is you have so much to cover. So I'm going to let you go ahead and dive into it because there's a lot.
Yeah. As I mentioned, just let me kind of go over this. I think I've got about 5 to 7 points that I want to go over. I also have some notes here on them, but I think I'll get this all down. And then just to help those that are watching, I thought what would be a good idea is on each of the 8 points that I'm going to go over, if there's a question or two that you might think of, then chances are others thought about it as well. As you know, that's the way I like to do it. I don't want to manufacture questions. I just want you to just, as you're listening, anything comes up, chances are others might as well. So we'll get started, you know? So the trillion-dollar opportunity in businesses, I think that I want to spotlight a chance to rewrite the rules of wealth creation while addressing some of the pressing challenges of our time. It starts with a demographic tidal wave. Baby boomer generation is 70% of small businesses is heading into retirement. In the United States, 10,000 people retire daily. Globally, the rise of adult diapers are growing baby diapers. Okay? These businesses, though, are the heartbeat of businesses, right? Whether they're the mom and pop businesses, that air conditioning business, heating and air, or that, eco-friendly projects, right? Many face lack successes, right? A lot of them generate less than 5 million. They're too small for private equity and too unsexy for venture capital. The opportunity in transition for sellers, it's about moving dollars. It's about preserving legacy and ensuring their lives' work doesn't vanish, right? The data is sobering, though. The small and medium-sized businesses, most of them don't sell, and those that do don't reach what they want. So for the first time in history, the next generation had kind of spoiled them. So now they don't want to take over. So this is where we come in. The opportunity isn't to reinvent the wheel, but to take up these businesses, optimize them, and then let them thrive. Let's take the story of a sustainable packaging company I worked with. It was already on going to collapse, but I saw the potential. I operated certain hidden value, and we transformed it into a profitable enterprise. Within a year, it was thriving, and then we exited. So it was win-win for everyone. We turned a challenge into a triumph. Now, you don't need bags of cash, as I said, or sleepless nights. What if I told you you could buy a business that's thriving without using your money? And no, this isn't a setup for a late night infomercial. This is proven strategy that smart investors skip the startup grind to success. No hunting for customers or sleepless nights with marketing campaigns or endless trial and error, right? You acquire something that's already humming along. And the best part is there's millions of businesses like that waiting for someone that's bold enough to take over that opportunity. Now, I've heard this before. Hey, I'm not a mega rich investor. I can't buy a business. I know. You don't need to be wealthy. And you certainly don't need to empty your savings account. You just need to understand how to structure a deal. Imagine taking over an eco-friendly installation firm. Instead of using your own cash, the business, you let the profits pay for the business. So your new business itself buys itself. This isn't magic. It's a strategy. Let me debunk a myth. Success is not about grinding it out in the trenches. The real game changer is the deal making. Think of it as starting at mile 25 in a marathon, but still taking a medal, right? So if you take if you don't want to do marketing campaigns, okay? That's what happens with that typical small business. Buffett, Musk, they built their empires not by starting companies, but acquiring them. And the good news is you don't need deep pockets for this game. You need strategy, you need vision, and the ability to spot diamonds in the rough. The key is finding motivated sellers. Why would someone sell a profitable business? Because life happens. Maybe they're tired, they're relocating, they're dealing with family challenges, or they're ready for another chapter. Their reason is still going to remain the same. Small businesses are overlooked and 50% of GDP in the private sector. Yet institutional capital ignores them. 3 reasons mostly. 1, risk. They're vulnerable to stuff, customer losses. 2, scale. They can't absorb the $10 million investment institutional funds employ. And number 3, liquidity. Investments in small enterprises often lack clear exits. This disconnect leaves trillions of dollars on the table. And it starves these businesses of the capital that they need to flourish. So you want to create small businesses as an asset class. That's what's clear. If you can solve the issue of risk, scale, and liquidity, then we can bring in millions into small to medium businesses into an asset class. Imagine money's flowing, revitalizing that business. It's not just an economic opportunity. It's kind of a way to help people, right? Whether it's a small asset, whether even if it's like a Amazon business or Facebook, you can still sell it or keep it as a generating asset. The choice is yours. The Fifth Avenue Underground Club, that vision is why I started the Underground Club. It began as a way to share strategies of businesses that needed upfront capital. Now it's been a mission to help people that want to acquire businesses. And over the years, I've looked at hundreds of deals, and I know that this works well. The future of wealth creation, reconnecting medium-sized businesses, isn't just a strategy. It's a revolution. You're democratizing wealth, strengthening communities. So here's my challenge, right? Think bigger. The tidal wave is already here. You either ride it or watch it pass by, right? I think that's kind of it. I just wanted to go over these kind of 8 points, and I went over them kind of quick. And each time I was thinking of something else and something else. And so I want to give you a chance to maybe ask any questions based on any of those points, anything that you thought of.
Yeah, well, I know we've talked about this in other sessions too, but maybe you could talk a little bit about how, you see an opportunity, what exactly, how do you get in the door with these opportunities? If you see a business that you think, hey, that they are struggling, they are working long nights, they sound like they want to get out of this business, like, what's your next step then at that point?
Let me answer it by saying this. I've learned a lot of these strategies by talking to actual people that bought a business at, I don't want to say zero down, but maybe $10 down or 10 pounds or 100. Or I told you I have a friend I met at a seminar that lives in Los Angeles. The most she's put down is 10,000. And she even said, you know what? And it was for a spa. She's like, I learned a lesson. I'll never do it again. Right? Because it wasn't needed. It wasn't necessary. It's the fact that the seller wanted $10,000. But the fact that he wanted it because he needed it meant that she could have gotten it for $100. So let me get to the point. When I met her at a seminar, just like I've met a lot of these people. And most people, when they go to these seminars on merger and acquisitions, or they're listening intently to that speaker, or they're buying that book on it and highlighting and taking notes. I don't. I find out who are the ones that just did a deal, that have that, I'm thinking of the word, smoke a battle on them, right? It just got back from doing one. And when I meet someone that's like that, I'm going to ask them. And friends that I've met at these seminars say, you just go right to that person and you'll be like right in their face. Yeah, because they just did a deal. As I said, they've got the smoke of battle on them. I want to ask him, not the person at the seminar that did it 30 years ago that's now semi-retired. I want to know someone that just won. So I do have exact letters that people mail out that have gotten results, right? Meaning handwritten letters that you mail to them that they look at. Hey, have you thought of an exit strategy? I'm an investor. I do have well-written letters. Again, though, I like to go to people that have gotten results. And I know somebody that buys about, I don't know, 1 to 2 businesses a month. Really, this person's on a goal of to do about 15 to 20 a year. Roll them up and then sell them to a bigger entity. And when I said to this person, it was at a seminar, and I knew this person had been buying these businesses. So when he went to the restroom, no, I didn't follow him in the restroom. I went outside, and then when I saw him go back in, I'm like, not so fast. Right. Before you go in, can I ask you a question? And then from there, I was like, you know what? When they have lunch break, let's meet with them. And here's the people that have, as I said, that smoke a battle. They do this. They go through their phone and look through people they know, people they have connections with.
Right. That opens the
And
door.
we'll say something. So again, you're brand new in this, right? Hey, I just got back from a seminar. Now, I don't think that's the best approach to say, I just got back from a seminar that taught people on how to buy businesses at zero down. I think that's a horrible strategy. I think what the strategy would be, again, if you've learned from me, then you'd say, I'm working with a former hedge fund manager. This guy's got a background in venture capital. He's got a lot of contacts of people with money. And part of the strategy that he taught me was acquiring businesses. If you know anybody that's looking for an exit strategy, wants to sell, right? I was going to say wants to retire, but you want them to kind of stay on since you're not going to be working that business. So if you know somebody that's looking for an exit strategy, I'm working with a group that's doing that. And then from there, you're right, that person that's on your contact list may not know you as a merger and acquisition person or as a person that does deals. That's okay. You're bringing that credibility on somebody else. So again, good example of you. You've given an example of a Mexican restaurant you go to that maybe could use some improvement, right? They don't have a website. Those are things so it would be a conversation. It would be keeping your eyes and ears open. That's the better way to do it. Before it was just casual conversation, right? Before it was you walk into that restaurant and he's like, oh gosh, somebody would buy me out. Well, no matter what they'd offer me, I'd say yes. And now you're like, yeah, I know how you feel. I have days like that too. Well, now it's not casual conversation. Your eyes and ears are open. Are you serious about that comment? I actually have a client, or you'd say, I've got a friend I know in Miami. That's actually what they do. Oh, yeah, have them give me a call. Yes, I want to hear more about that. You're going to get better results, I feel, than just sending out letters. Now, people do get results that way. You just have to go through a lot of numbers. I think you'll get the best results by talking to people that you already know and letting them know that you're working with a group, you're part of a club that has access to a lot of investor money and they're acquiring businesses. That would be the best way. Good question. Go to the next one for me, please.
Gosh, well, that was my biggest one at the moment.
Keep your
Um,
eyes and ears open. You know what
yep.
I mean? And then when someone mentions something and you think the direction might go there, keep going on that conversation. Have you thought of an exit strategy? Well, yeah, but I don't really want to retire. I just would like a liquidity event. I can help you with that as well. So, what else? Anything else that came up?
Actually, the only other thing I was curious as far as deal making, I know you said that you don't have to come in with a lot. I mean, do you have any tips or any ideas for people who, maybe aren't the best at negotiating?
Well, numbers don't lie. So the first thing you're going to do is ask them to see the books. Now, again, why I don't like the idea of soliciting people, if you will, right? Because they don't know you and now they're going to send you something online, right? They don't, if you were mailing out letters in other states and they just, so you eliminate the skepticism of them saying, you're asking me to show you my last year's tax returns. Or, well, we have to do due diligence before we acquire it. And we're going to acquire the bit, right? So when you said about the negotiation, numbers don't lie. So if you look at the numbers and you're looking at it and things don't make sense, then you'd say, look, I was hoping to be able to get you a quick exit strategy, but based on this, there's a lot of work we've got to do here. And so we look at areas where there's improvement. And then we'd say to that person, here's some ways we're not quite ready for the exit strategy. Okay. We're maybe 6 to 8 months away. We might even be a year away. And during that year, we're going to look at ways to increase the value.
These specific numbers, this value overall. So you're going to, that's where you're taking it over, but they're still doing majority of the work. You're not
Right. So getting to how I got started in this business, more doing the consulting around it. Let me help you to then be positioned for an exit strategy and you pay me. The problem was I'd do that and they'd pay me a retainer and I'd maybe work with them for 12 to 18 months where they were paying me about $2,000 a month. And you're saying, okay, not bad, Regan. You made 24 to 26,000. Yeah, but here's the problem. Now when they were in a position to sell, they sold for $1 million and I didn't walk away with anything. And the typical business broker is going to walk away with 10%. Well, again, I'm not a business broker. I'm going to position myself as that buyer. Then when I look at the numbers and say, whoa, 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 because yes, I can get financing, I can buy it. We need to increase the numbers between now and as we increase it, make me 20% owner. Then a year from now when we sell, well, I'm 20% owner, only owner if I do what I say I do. Right? If I say what I do, meaning I'm able to increase it and help them exit. So if he's like, I'd love to walk away with 5 million, right? I'd say, whoa, we're ways away from that, right? But when we get there and you help them with that 5 million, wouldn't you like to walk away with 20% because you helped them with that? Think about it. You'd walk out with $1 million payout.
Right. That would be amazing.
So what else? I like your questions because they're probably ones that others had thought of too.
I think those are the two that I had. I mean, obviously, I want to talk a little bit more about the Underground Club. We have more info coming out about that soon. So you can go find out more, and we'll post as soon as that's available. But what do you envision, I guess, if the Underground Club, who would be a great fit to look into what you do or be part of what you're doing over there?
I like that question because in business, speaking of the difference between a startup and when you buy an existing business, the most challenging part when you first start out is what's your niche? Who's that market you're going to go after? And to answer your question now, it would be somebody that maybe is tired of corporate America and would like a little bit more control. So one might be that person that maybe took an early retirement in their late 50s or early 60s, but they say, gosh, I'm not ready to retire. But maybe they'd say, I don't want to buy a franchise, or I don't want to, which is who normally buys franchises, is that person that was in corporate America that had money. But they also, they don't want to liquidate everything they have for that business. So I'm going to teach them, although they do have a high net worth, how to acquire that business using seller financing. The other niche might be, let's pick somebody like you that does own a small business, but they say, I want to increase my revenue, but not with my current business. I'd rather acquire other competitors that add to customers. Remember the idea I gave you of the friend of mine that owned the telecom company? He knew that he had to cold call umpteen people just to make one sale, right? Instead, he would only have to talk to 10 people and find 2 that would say, yes, I want to buy, I want an exit. And he'd say, no, not so fast. I'm not going to give you millions of dollars. We're going to merge it into mine. I'll work the business and you'll get paid over time.
Those are great. Wonderful.
So small business owners that want to increase their revenue, but want to do it through customers, by acquiring customers, if you will, because that's what you're doing when you're acquiring a business, or that that small business owner that suffers from shiny object syndrome. You know that syndrome? I suffer from that from time to time.
Yes.
Right? So maybe they own a business, but they realize it has a ceiling. I'm thinking of something like a hair cutting business, hair salon, right? If you just think of things like those super cuts, the Great Clips hairs, I don't want to call them failed formulas, but they do have a ceiling. Because think about it, there's 4 chairs on this side, 4 on that side. They're open, whatever, even if they're open 12 hours a day from 9 to 9, you only have so many people that could sit in there, and then you cut, even if it's 2 people an hour, you're only going to make so much money. So that small business owner that says, I really can't increase my revenue with the current business. It's not that I have shiny coin syndrome, right? It's that expression, they call it monkey see shiny coin. Oh, instead it's that, how can I scale my business? The only way to do it is to acquire others. So in that situation, we would do one of 2 things. We either acquire other haircutting businesses, and again, even if they say, yeah, but this is horrible. After I pay off everybody and my manager and this, I only walk away with 20, 30,000 a year. I understand. That's why we're going to buy 20 of them. Mm-hmm. And then do the exit strategy with a big private equity group.
Gotcha.
Long-winded there to answer that question. Last one?
That's all. That's all I have.
Good. I think we've explained pretty much a lot. So yeah.
Great. Well, perfect. Well, thank you, Reagan. And if you want to follow up with Reagan, obviously we'll have links in the chat for you as well. You can visit Fifth Avenue Capital, 5THAAVC.com, but we will have a new one very soon for the Underground Club as well. So we'll include that when we get it launched. And we're here every Friday at noon Eastern time, so you can hit the bell and get notices when we go live. Thank you so much, Reagan.